Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the world go round. No, you don't want me singing at you, I appreciate that. But money does make the world go round, doesn't it? That's a line from Cabaret, if I remember, you know, the musical. A marvellous one, if I have got memories correct. Anyway, the point is, I was thinking about money. We all use money, don't we? And we all use it in a very convenient way these days. It's ever so clever how we can just have a card and tap something or put in a little code and we can do that. And we can sit online and just transfer cash. It's so convenient. But then convenience is not always our friend, from what my thinking has been going on recently. And I wonder what would happen if people who want to keep cash, you know, because it's a visceral thing, isn't it? Cash, when you spend your money and you've actually got to pay over in cash and you get the wallet, you crack it open, the dust flies everywhere and you pull out those notes that you've hard earned to get those notes, and then you've got to pay for something. I've always thought when you pay in cash, you think twice about what it is you're buying. Do I really need this? Because you can see the money dwindling away from your wallet. It's getting thinner and thinner and you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, this is going to last until next payday. Whereas if you buy stuff on a card, it's not so easy to make that same thing. You're just going, oh, how much is it? Yeah, no, that's fine. Bink. And you use your card and you get rid of the cash, and always at the back of your mind, it's okay, I can always borrow some more, or I can shunt some money around from one account to another. But it's a bit of a faff if you've got to do that with cash. And then I was thinking, I wonder what would happen if more people wanted to use cash and they all went on the same day and took it out from their bank. You know, if they said, do you know what, actually, I've given up on banks. I think I might just let all my money out, please. Now, I'm not talking about a run on the bank. I'm not talking about everybody going to the bank and panicking, because nobody actually wants that. It's very unstabling, of course, and I certainly wouldn't condone that. But if, say, I don't know, 1 or 2% of the population, which would be an unexpected number, all went to their bank and said, hello, I've got some savings here. Do you mind if I just withdraw them, please? I wonder what they'd say. There'd be a bit of a panic, I think, from the bank's point of view, because I imagine banks are probably like electric companies or water companies, in as much as they know roughly how much cash they've got to have in all their banks and on all the ATM machines, how much they actually need at any one given time. Because, say, on a Friday or a Saturday, there's probably more cash demand because people have been paid, and perhaps they go, you know, they're going down the pub and all that, and they want a handful of cash to, you know, impress their friends and things like that, and they'd be able to have that demand. Whereas on a Tuesday or Wednesday, probably not quite so much a demand for cash. So I imagine that there would be a certain amount of cash in the machines at any certain time, you know, so that if 2% of the population suddenly turned up and said, oh, actually, we'd like to withdraw all our money, they'd be somewhat shocked. That might send a message down the system. I don't know what kind of message that would send, but it might be, oh, there's a bit of a panic going on. But I think cash is very important. As I say, it's visceral, and it makes you think twice about what it represents, because it's a physical object in your hand and it's representing the hard toil that you've done. Whereas a digital currency doesn't really do that so easily. And then we hear about these thoughts across the world that certain people would like to have more of a global currency. And I worry about that because I can't really see the merits of it. I can see that that would be more controlling for them. It may well be sold as convenient for us, but as I say, convenience isn't always a good thing. So I can see that in the future, you know, if you've bought, say, I don't know, too many meat pies, and we're told that meat now is a terrible thing and we shouldn't be eating meat. Can't think why, it's lovely. But if we're told that and we're being said, oh, actually, because of the CO2 values, you know, there's only so many meat pies you can have. and you've had your ration, so we won't actually let you pay for that meat pie. You can pay for the Brussels sprouts if you like, but nothing else. So I think that would be a bit worrying, that people could control your money in that way and give you a carbon credit attached to your global bank account. Now, I don't know how that would work. I don't even know if that's feasible, but these days you imagine it and somebody's done it. So that would be worrying to me. But so let's think that if actually you managed to get your cash out and you went to the bank and they, let's say they did it, you might still have a few problems, wouldn't you? This is where it's all a bit awkward, really. Because if you got your money out, even if you went to the cash machines and took out the maximum amount, whatever that is, a couple of £100, is it? And you just keep taking it out from this ATM and that ATM. And then you've got this big load of money, this cash, which is very nice, thank you very much. But you've got to store it somewhere, haven't you? Where do you put it? Maybe under the floorboards, under the mattress, in a safe, I suppose, would be the logical place. But then, of course, there's that worry that what if somebody breaks in and steals it, or if the house burns down, you've lost all your cash. That's a worry. And of course, we're slightly stymied at the moment because dear old Queen Elizabeth has now died, and we've got King Charles. So it means that all the current currency is floating about with the Queen's head, but it's going to be changed to King Charles's head. So it means that even if you take the money out in large quantities, at some point we're going to be told, well, that's no longer legal currency. We can't have that, or legal tender. So you'll have to have notes with the king. But don't worry, in the ordinary way of passing over a note, there's a £50 note, there's your change. Oh, look at that, it's got the king on it. That it would ordinarily sort out. But of course, you know, if you've got a bit of loose change, you can nip into the bank and have it changed. Might be awkward, let's say, if you took your savings out. Let's just say, for example, you had £10,000 worth of savings. Thanks very much, would be very nice, wouldn't it? And you go into the bank with a bag and you've managed to get that lot out over a period of, say, 6 months from different cash machines or whatever. But it might be a bit awkward going into the bank with 10 grand in a bag and saying, here you go. This has all got lovely Queen's face on it. Could I have some with the King's face on, please? They may look at you very dubiously and start asking you where you got it from. That might rouse a bit of suspicion, and various authorities might be told it's perfectly legally your money. You've taken it out, even if you kept the receipts, and say, well, hang on a minute, over the last 6 months I've taken this out and it's just accrued, and yeah, I just like cash, you know. I don't know whether that would be so easy. So then you've got to go into lots of different banks over a period of time and just do, I've got £200, I was going to buy a car with it, and the bloke insisted on cash. Now we're changing to the King's head, so any chance we could just change it? And that, again, that would be a bit of a faff. But it would be doable. It could be doable. My point really, I suppose, is that we do have the power. If everybody was using cash, we wouldn't have these threatened digital currencies, the idea that we'd have a CO2 credit, that you couldn't drive your car as far as you like and things like that. The power would come back to the people, which would be lovely. And we would feel that, again, we're living in a democratic society. The trouble is, of course, it's completely unrealistic because most people aren't going to do it. Most people want an easy life and they like the convenience. Most people, it has to be said, and I don't blame them, are a bit lazy. And of course, most people don't have critical thinking abilities, and I'm not blaming these people whatsoever. It's just the system that's been invented, it seems to me, over the years, that schools and colleges and universities aren't really geared up to give people the ability to think about their situation. It's more about having a nice, easy life, watching the television, having a holiday, all the usual sort of stuff that people love to do, and not actually necessarily think about what's going on. So I don't blame the people, but it would be nice in my lifetime to see a little bit more of critical thinking going on and working out ways to, I don't know, to keep what we have around so that we could all have a rather lovely, pleasant old age.